Hey guys, welcome back. Talking La Muerta Devious art process from layouts to final inks. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to walk you through how I go about bringing my part of the process to La Muerta Devious. I do the pencils and inks. And what I'm going to do is basically walk you through how I go about iterating a script. So let's check it out. We'll start with this here. All right, here you see is a rough layout for page 8. And actually, I just finished doing a live stream on Facebook, do them once a week or whatever, if you ever want to catch me on there, Joel Gomez Art. And in the live stream, someone brought up a good question. Mark Bird, a Sworn Nation member and my buddy, he asked, hey, would you ever share the script as well as your process so people understand what the script is like and how you had an iteration from that. So I won't share the script, but I will read the script as I share this layout with you. It'll be an edited version of the read for the script because I don't want to give away too much, right? Okay, so panel 1, interior church night. This is the same church scene in La Muerta Retribution. Light from a street lamp outside floods in through the double doors as King enters. He's annoyed. Okay, we got King annoyed, and he's saying some stuff. So, panel 2, King approaches La Muerta, who steps out of a thick pool of shadows. We focus on La Muerta in this panel. So this is my first pass at how I imagined it. Again, more speechifying and some caption balloons here. Panel 3, close on King, annoyed. Panel 4, another angle, La Muerta and King. She has a guilty look on her face. Panel 5, King turns his back on her. Panel 6, close-up, King, eyes down. All right, again, edited for content. Don't want to reveal too much that will ruin the story. But let's get back to this. So here we have, again, the layouts. And as mentioned in previous videos, you can see, sorry about the light there, you can see that I break the panels up into thirds. And you can see in the back there's some grids, right? And the way it works is if you break a panel up into thirds, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's like 3 rows up and 3 rows down. Where the horizontal and vertical lines intersect are points of interest. So I do that for every panel to try and create interesting places to rest something, so it creates this really interesting dynamic for the reader. So here's my first pass at all 6 panels. And what I do is once I've gotten approval from the guys, I will then I'll blow this up into onto an 11 by 17 piece of typing paper and work out all the details. Let me get that for you. So here we have said 11 by 17. Oops. There we go. All right, and again, breaking it down into thirds, keeping anything of interest closest to the points where the horizontal and vertical lines may intersect, right? Okay, so panel 1, it's pretty similar. King coming into this building, except now I've taken a 3/4 angle as opposed to this direct angle. This looks like the camera's sitting at eye level and he's walking in on us. Here, it feels like the camera might be at an angle, right? Like the camera's looking at him at some angle and he's coming in. Panel 2, here I have an indication of King walking towards La Muerta, and I've got her framed. Panel 3, again, intersecting points of horizontal and vertical lines broken up into thirds create that interesting point for him to rest at in the panel. Panel 4, again, same thing. We have our 2 characters talking, and I've rested them again on that horizontal and vertical meeting line. And I've also added this large sculpture in the foreground. Create this contrast in shapes. Panel 5, I worked this out. I wasn't feeling, King looks like he's floating here in this panel, and I just didn't like it, so that changed. This I felt pretty confident with. I didn't even attempt it in the rough. I just knew I could land it. So this gives you the idea of where I was at mentally with how I wanted to kind of frame the objects or the people in the objects in the room, and also kind of create contrast in the variety of shapes by using smaller scaled figures and a giant object and then close-ups. Just that variety helps create enough interest in the page so it doesn't seem so stagnant, So let's check out the final line art. All right. Okay, here we go. And so here we see we've got King entering the church. High contrast moire lighting, right? Here we have King, again, much different from the original thumbnail, right? Here we have King. We're almost at a bird's eye view, looking down at them like a pigeon up in the ceiling of this church. And then in the final, what I rested on was a rat's eye view, as if we're looking up at La Muerta. Somewhat more heroic, I think. I thought it helped create some serious contrast between her and King, as he's so much smaller than her, and I kind of give her a really cool stance. Here we have King, again, very similar to the larger rough, pretty much exact. Panel 4, same thing. I just kind of darkened up the area around them to create that contrast. And here's as I mentioned earlier, the panel where King, he kind of seemed to be floating, right, in this rough here. I just didn't like how it looked. And this one seems to be much more grounded in reality, and it kind of reflected more of an interaction between the two based on his body language and La Muerta's body language. She really looks like she's getting yelled at, right? So yeah. And then here, I wanted to give King somewhat of a look of disgust as they wrap up this conversation, right? And so I had an idea in mind for what he should look like in that panel. Yeah, there you have it. Let's get from this thumbnail rough to this blown up 11 by 17 rough, right? Much change, especially in panel 2. You can see from this bird's eye view within the church to this half-assed rat's eye view to the final iteration of the completed thought of the rat's eye view there. And so yeah, so there you go, La Muerta Devious Page 8, from layouts to final inks. So what I'll try to do in the next videos, I will try to get much more of an action-oriented page going. I know that in the last few videos it's been a lot of quiet scenes, which it can't be helped. I'm trying to share some of this without revealing too much of what the story actually is. But I will try and find a space where I can pull out one of those pages. I'll get approval from Brian and Mike so that I can share how I break down that type of a page. It's a much different kind of approach. So yeah, we'll try that out in the next video. Once again, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's Joel Gomez Art. Facebook as well, Joel Gomez Art, and YouTube, Joel Gomez Art. So if you don't, follow me at any of those platforms if you can. And thank you for taking the time to join me on this video, and look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. So thanks again, guys. Take care.